Online learning, free courses.
Alright guys, so in this video we're going to be quickly covering the 5 Fiverr no-nos. So there's not a lot to remember when it comes to what not to do on Fiverr. Excuse me. There's really only 5 basic things that you need to remember. And it's pretty much common sense. Number 1 is no foul language. It's pretty simple, straightforward. That shouldn't be a question, really. It's just unprofessional. Even if someone is getting upset with you or cursing you out, just be the bigger person, especially as a seller. You don't want to get reported for any silly reason like that. If someone's giving you a hard time, you can either report them or you can simply reply one message to them and then ignore them from that. With that being said, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. The other one is, of course, number 2, never ignore or refuse a refund. So you always want to do your best to try to work it out with the customer first. If that is not possible, then of course issue them a refund. I know when you're first getting started, it may feel like there may be times where you don't want to issue a refund or you feel like it's not due. And I've had to do that before. Sometimes you do have to bite the bullet. But overall, once you get your packages down, once you get your gig offerings down, and what I mean by that is once you know what you're going to offer, it doesn't take you a long time to deliver. You have your default messages all created. Once that is all set up, then all of these things shouldn't take long to manage and do, and yet you should still be getting good value. So you should be getting good customer reviews, and people should like your gigs that you're offering. So with all that being said, yeah, you can't just refuse refunds, and you can't just ignore them. So when a refund is requested, do honor that. With that being said, then number 3 is also do not ignore your messages. We've talked a lot about that, how your response rates increase your sales. So you want to make sure that you're replying back to your messages and that you're keeping your response rates high. The other things that you never want to do, number 4, is never ever go on vacation mode. That is one of the worst things that you can do for your gigs and for your rankings, especially after you've been on Fiverr a while and you've gotten some sales and reviews. You definitely don't want to put your gigs on vacation mode ever. And last but finally, and certainly not least, certainly not least, is custom work. I've talked a lot about this as well, and if it's something that you really want to offer, then go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but I will say that for anyone who doesn't have much time to offer for their gig for their gig deliveries, and you need to make Fiverr a side income, then I really recommend not doing custom work on Fiverr. It's just going to slow you down, and you're going to have a lot more messages and a lot more questions. Now, if you are slow to getting started and for whatever reason your gigs aren't picking up, then, I guess you can play around with it if you want. But if you are pressed for time, do not offer custom work. So with that being said, those are the 5 things to keep in mind when it comes to Fiverr no-nos. Outside of that, it's pretty much free game. Obviously, there's no nudity allowed on Fiverr, so that would be the number 6, I suppose, inside of your videos and your images. But that should be pretty self-explanatory considering that you're dealing with mostly business owners and business services. So, all in all, I think that is everything. And I guess the one other thing that I can add is when it comes to any sort of, we'll call it illicit activity, maybe it's actually illegal, or maybe it's, borderline activity. Things like, for example, I've gotten into this a lot because I do keyword research, and keyword research can cover anything in any industry, and I work with a lot of different industries. So I've done keyword research for everything from, adult resorts to nursing homes to medical marijuana to brothels even. So again, it can really be a wide range of topics and things like that. And if you are doing something similar where it's research related, or maybe it's press release syndication or article distribution or whatever it may be, you may have things like that where you're working with different industries. It's up to you whether you want to work with those types of people or not. I have found that typically people that are working within the adult industry, like adult entertainment industry, are kind of scammy. I think it kind of just ends up going with the territory. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. The reason I bring that up is because using something like the word like medical marijuana, that's not going to trigger anything inside of Fiverr. It's just purely based off of what you're comfortable with and what you're comfortable delivering. So with that being said, those are the Fiverr no-nos, do's and don'ts, and some tips. And you can join me in the next video as we dive deeper into advanced selling.